Hey guys, today I want to go over some mistakes that I have heard from other people or I've experienced myself that cost a lot of people points in the different categories, and obviously in the end can cost you the crown. So let's get started. So that being said, the first thing I want to touch base on is avoid sounding unsure or not confident in your answers or what you're saying, how you introduce yourself. I know there's some pageant systems where you don't really say anything for your main entry. They introduce you, the host will. But if it's a system like my pageant system that I'm with, you introduce yourself. So nobody knows you better than you. So if you're sounding insecure or unsure, then that isn't going to come across as confident and genuine. It's not going to come across like you want to be there. Those nerves are going to show, and you need to be sure that you are showing how much confidence you have in yourself and how much truth you know in yourself, and answer the questions when it comes to interview like you honestly think they should be answered. Because if you answer the way you think they want you to answer, um, chances are, if it's not aligning with what you believe, it's going to come across a little nervous or unsure, and they're going to pick up on that. They're going to they're going to know. So my advice is, what I always do is I practice as much as I can. Sometimes I'll have my friends and family just ask me random questions that are kind of pointless about my everyday stuff, just so I answer and I'm prepared for any question that I may get. Sometimes I've personally experienced this where I'm asked a question, I answer, and then they ask another question involving my answer, and I wasn't really expecting that. So always expect the unexpected, but make sure that you know your truth, you know you're a wonderful person, you know your personality, you know your values. You can't go wrong if you are acting and saying what you genuinely feel and think. And make sure that you share some stuff with the world or with the judges that you want them to know. It never hurts to throw in an interesting fact once in a while, so that the judges and the audience can connect with you. But that confidence, it shows that you know who you are, you believe in who you are. So you don't want to imply the wrong thing and have, those unsure moments, or make it sound like you're unsure when really you're not. Stiff movements. Now, we all react to our nerves differently, especially in the beginning, but I definitely know I have like a bit of an issue with auditory stuff. So I really rely on that visible and physical communication as well. Now, I know not everybody does, but me personally, I do. So, from my experience of being in the audience and also being on stage, your body language tells a lot. Sometimes it says more to people in the audience and the judges and stuff than your own words do. That being said, if you're super, super stiff, then it just looks like you don't want to be here, or you're unsure, or you're nervous, but so nervous that you're not being yourself. If you're super reckless and kind of slouchy, then again, it perceives like you just don't want to be here. So make sure that you're standing proud and your posture is comfortable, but also showing everybody how comfortable you are and that you are happy to be there because you want to be there. And so make sure when you're moving, when you are walking, that being said, that your walk is elegant. It's not forced. It's smooth. It's not as if you've rehearsed this 1,000 times and you're just doing what you told to do, but you're doing what is graceful and elegant. So please keep in mind the body language. I don't think that's something that people always focus on. People tend to focus on the walk and the interview and the talent. They don't tend to focus on the fact that even in group lineup, you're being watched. So make sure that you're not sitting there leaning on a wall, like bored out of your tree, but actually watch the other performances. Actually enjoy that. Yes, you're not on stage right this minute, but you can still enjoy the rest of the show just like the audience can. I've seen some girls, um, whether I'm in the audience or in lineup, that just look kind of like they're bored. Um, but they're actually not. They're having a lot of fun. So please just remember that your body language does say a lot for you. When you're walking in to get ready, you don't know what judges you're going to walk past. So just keep in mind that if you're doing this because you think it's fun and you like the platform and you see the values and the strengths that you can get from it, make sure that that shows, because the whole process is just that. It's a process. It's all these little parts of the day, including from when you wake up and you're preparing, they all add up to you having a really good experience and a great time. And that is what matters the most, because when push comes to shove, that's why we all want to do it, because we have fun and we love to do it. Proper fitting outfits. Now, I've talked about this before because I've seen it a lot with all different age ranges. I've had the problem myself where if your outfit is too tight or too loose, the judges and the audience can tell. Not to mention, you're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to worry, is this going to fall? Is it going to slide? Oh, does my stomach look like it's bulging out? And ultimately, you being comfortable is what's important. Now, keep that in mind. Different outfits are supposed to fit differently. So it's okay and it's completely normal if you're, let's say, a size 12 in, those flowy ball type gowns, but in, say, a mermaid gown, you have to be a size 14 or 16 because you have to accommodate for the fitting and the way it fits. That way it looks, feels, and fits properly. That being said, for costumes, sometimes there's two pieces. So again, if you have a two piece and it's showing way more than it should or not enough, it is going to be obvious. So please just keep in mind that that's a mistake a lot of people make. I've made it myself, where the outfit does not fit properly. So if you're unsure but you really want an outfit, make sure you get it ahead enough, like in time, so that way you can do alterations if that's what's needed. Because again, like, the outfit is really gonna determine your comfortability too. So please understand that all these little processes ultimately decide what makes you more comfortable. A warm smile. Now, I know better than anyone that some people, like me, don't really like their smile with their teeth showing. So for me, I smile with my mouth closed, and I'm sure a lot of people do. There's other people who smile and show all teeth. For me personally, I feel like I show a lot of gum, so that makes me uncomfortable. So I just understand what kind of smile you feel more comfortable with and know that there is no right or wrong smile. If you're comfortable with your smile, it is going to feel genuine, warm, and inviting. And that's what matters, because again, ultimately, it shows that you want to be here and that you're enjoying yourself. It feels welcoming, which is what we want. Now, practicing, this is a huge mistake. People think, especially when they're new sometimes, I'm just walking on stage. Like, I've done that 1,000 times. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Not practicing is a huge mistake people make. And I want to specify that practicing your walk, talent, your Q&A, and your timing are all really important. Not to mention, they show that you have respect for the process and the other contestants. So we're going to go a little more into detail about that. So when practicing your walk, again, the best thing that I can give you advice on why that is so important is because you feel comfortable. So it's going to look more smooth, more elegant, like we talked about. You're not going to look so stiff, and you're going to feel super comfortable on stage, which allows you to have fun and enjoy the process. And it also allows everyone else to see that you're fun, enjoying the process, and you're confident. Talent, practicing talent, like I've said in previous videos, is always important because in the end, you need to be prepared for anything that may or may not happen, and you can't get any more prepared other than practice. Q&A practice is always a good place to touch up. You can never not have enough practice in this because this happens in your everyday life with your friends and family. It also happens with coworkers or employers. You're always going to be asked questions, and some of them you may not be prepared for. So the practice for Q&A can help you in many different aspects of your life, not just in the world of pageantry. And again, you want to sound confident and secure in your answers. You don't want to perceive like you're not confident or you're unsure, because that's not what you're trying to do. So practice does make perfect in the set. And timing. We've talked about this before. Timing is super important because not only does it help your performance look more smooth and more elegant and more confident and more natural and genuine, it also lets your personality shine because you feel comfortable with it. And it's showing respect to the contestants and the host and everybody who has worked so hard to make this pageant a success. Because when you're late, everybody else is late. Or in some systems, when you're late, you don't get a chance to participate in that category. And that's sad because you came for the experience. You want to enjoy it all. So timing is super, super important. It, in my opinion, is almost disrespectful to not be prepared for timing. So for me personally, I always show up to the pageants earlier than I expected. That way I have more time than I've expected to have. That way I'm accounting for traffic. I'm accounting for hair mistakes or wardrobe malfunctions. So please, please, please keep in mind that timing, just even in your everyday life when you're supposed to show up to a birthday party, timing, it's respectful to show up on time, or in this case early, to make sure you're prepared and ready. Now I hope that these common mistakes that I have talked to you about help. I know not everybody may experience these because everybody's experiences are different. But I hope, they're things that people maybe don't necessarily think of because they're so focused on them doing well during the pageant process. So I really hope that some of these gave you guys some ideas of what to avoid. And if you have any other comments or any ideas that I may have missed or anything that you think would help anybody else, please feel free to comment below. I will feature your comment in the next video. And I'm so excited to announce that we're going to start incorporating some other people in these videos. So that will be great. And until then, please make sure to comment, share, like, and subscribe. And I can't wait to see you next week.